Hello everyone! So, for the last 9 months or so, I have been off playing Remake and Part 2 Remastered. I haven't touched original Last of Us in about 9 months, and while I was away, Uranto has been hard at work, like turning the grounded category up on its side. He's found so many cool new things that, even if I have been playing this for the last 9 months, I don't think I would have found anyway. He really put a lot of time and effort into it, and he's produced some very good work. So, all the credit in the world to Uranto for finding these things, which makes the run a little bit harder, but it makes it a lot faster, because the quality of these new finds is top-notch. Really good. Also, a couple of the strategies were discovered by Proxima as well. So, shout-outs to Uranto and Proxima for all of this. I take zero credit for any of the things I'm about to show you. But I'm making this video because I want to show all of you, okay? But this is all of their discoveries. Okay. Let's start off not with an area, but with supplies. Strat number 1 is going to be a little unorganized here. Strategy number 1 is we no longer pick up supplements here in Capital and here in the hotel. Remember, we need 50 supplements for weapon sway. We no longer pick up those 2 things of 5 right there. So 10 supplements are missing. We changed up the strategy in the hotel, and the one in Capital is just a little bit slow. And we now pick them up right after the financial district fight. There's 5 right there. And when we meet up with Henry, we get the 5 right here. So that's the 10 missing supplements, and here are the new 10 supplements that we pick up. Now, the thing about that is you now have to do hotel, the kitchen area, and all of financial district without upgraded weapon sway. You can upgrade it once Henry's is finished, all right? So you'll have it for the Searchlight, but you won't have it for the hotel kitchen area and all of financial district and Henry's. But it's not as, like, once you get used to it, it's not, like, as horrible an experience as you might think, okay? So, yes, there's that. Okay, now on to, hold on one sec. Okay, now on to, like, the real new strategies. We're going to start right here in the clicker sneaking area. Now, I need to point out, this is something that if you've watched my runs for a long time, you know when you're finished with the downtown fight, when you do a brick throw and a swing as the last kill, your melee weapon breaks, but the game considers the area finished before the game registers that the melee weapon is broken. So right now we have a glitched melee weapon, and we want to get rid of it before Museum. And I always wanted to find a way to do it in here. The way you get rid of it is you can only get rid of it via a swing. You can see how kind of broken it is. If I just hit square, it teleports to his hand and he can't swing it. The only way he can swing it in this phase is if he's sprinting and you do a sprinting swing. So yeah. As a refresher, here is what the area used to look like. I'll just let it run through.
No matter what, you stay right on his heels. Sure. You stay sharp.
I got it.
Fucking creepy.
Now that was a good strategy for a very long time. The problem is you can't sprint anywhere. You can't sprint anywhere. So now we're going to change this up a little. So this is how you do it. This is how you do it now.
Cover Almost out.
We're going to combine a faster way to do this with getting rid of the melee weapon, so
No matter
museum's a
what,
little
stay
easier.
right on his heels. Sure.
Here we go.
Stay sharp.
It starts out the same. We're going to get that bottle. We're going to throw it in the door. I meant to throw it in the doorway. It should still work. Yep, it still works. So isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? We can do this as many times as we want, but I want to... Just like when I was making my tutorials, I want to show it off piece by piece.
You stay sharp.
I got it.
Okay, so just like normally, you throw the brick over there. You get the bottle that's right there as well. And you want to L1R1 or L2R2 that into the doorway. Now, the earlier you throw the bottle, the better, because that allows the runner and the clicker in front of you to move to the left. So you want to aim it in the doorway. I accidentally threw it against the wall, but you want to throw it in the doorway. And you want to do that like as early as you can so that it's comfortable to you. And then do everything else the same. Get the brick and then immediately stand up. And then jog for like 1 second. I usually just hit the corner of the wall here, and then I can start sprinting. And then swing, and then do a leap. And the clicker to your right doesn't hear you, and nobody hears you sprinting, because those infected are really far away, and the clicker in front of you, I guess, hasn't moved to a position where he would hear you, because that was the one who would always hear us. And, yeah. It's very consistent. You still don't want to sprint here. There was a strategy where you would do a sprint leap through the window and then immediately swing, but that would make it so you wouldn't be able to approach the ladder from the right side, and you need to do that, otherwise Ellie will take cover in a different spot and it might push Tess off the ladder. We had a problem with that for years. Yeah, that's the strat. We can do it as many times as we want. Here, I'll skip ahead.
You stay sharp.
I got
Here we go again. Normal brick distraction. Get the bottle. Distract in the doorway. Get the brick. Stand up. Sprint. Swing. Leap. And then the rest is the same. And that is the new downtown strat. Consistent. I don't know how much faster it is. I'm going to say maybe 2 to 3 seconds faster. Like, you know, you can visualize it. It's clearly faster. You leap through the window a little bit slower, but you can sprint all the way to the end. So I'll say maybe 2 to 3 seconds faster. More importantly, though, you get rid of the melee weapon, which really saves your butt in Museum and Capital. You don't want a melee weapon in Museum or Capital, so this really helps out with that. Okay. On to the next one. Alright, up next is the Gymnasium. Now, we're going to do the Gymnasium without using a Molotov. And by far, in this entire video, this is the hardest of the new strategies. And I'm struggle with this a lot. Let me at least just show you a video of it being done perfectly. We end up using 1 bullet in our right holster, either a revolver or a pistol, doesn't really matter which one. And we use 2 shotgun shells like we normally do on the bloater, and then 1 on the 2 runners. But we don't use a Molotov. How do we do that? Well, like this. It turns out, this stuff right here, when you shoot it off with a right holster gun, it counts as a headshot. And then when you use 2 shotgun shells on the hole in his stomach that this has created, it kills him. Now, this is very difficult to do. I find it's a little bit easier to do from a restart and counter. But, yeah. So here's what it looks like. then the rest is the same. Now this strategy right here. You run forward. You crouch. You line up a shot on one of his... Go for this one. You shoot it off. The reticle shows a headshot. It thinks it's a headshot for some reason. And then you shotgun the open wound that it has. As long as you've started a leap, you won't get killed. So you're crouched when you do this. You do a sprint leap, and you're okay as long as you've started it before he hits you. And then you shoot his open wound one more time, and it's a kill. And then you get in position for the runners. That's the strategy. This strategy is incredibly difficult. Okay? Now, why do we bother doing this? It's because we're going to use a Molotov somewhere else that's very beneficial. So, that's why we pivoted with doing it this way. I'm probably going to fail this. Let me just make sure I made a file. I did. I can do this over and over and over from a restart encounter, but we're not going to do a restart encounter in the run. We're going to do it from the beginning.
Help me open this.
I'll try my best to get it. I have gotten it before, but it's very difficult. The reason it's a little bit easier from a restart encounter is because the bloater's standing still by the time you get in position.
This ain't gonna hold up for long. That don't sound good.
So yeah. Here we go. I got it! I just did it first try. So, it's doable. It's very, very tough, though. Okay? Ooh, I'm saving that one. Like, every strategy that looks difficult and is new, you're always so hesitant to, like, change things up for it. But eventually, this is what always happens. Eventually, you get so comfortable with it, it's like, how the hell did we ever become uncomfortable? Was it ever uncomfortable at one point? I'm hoping this becomes one of those instances because, yeah. Now, I like to get my shotgun blasts while I'm crouched because I'm, like, level with him. If I get it standing, which you can do, I feel like you'll be aiming downward, so you might hit the rest of his body. When you're crouched, you're more direct in line with his open wound in his stomach. So pretty much just like Uranto did it in the video example I showed. You can leap over this thing if you want or not, it's whatever. But you want to crouch right here, and then shoot the one on his left. So right about there, and then fire and leap. As long as you've started the leap, you're okay. I like to do a sprint leap there. And then I crouch again, and I shoot in the same area. Now, you don't want to shoot too high, too low, or too right. Aim for the open wound on the bottom left part of his body. And then as you see, you got plenty of time to get there. So, boom, boom, boom. Results may vary. Okay? And yeah, if you want to do it from a restart encounter, it looks like this. See, I missed right there. No, I missed again. Yeah, this is more of the experience I had with it. Got it. Ah. So that must have been something with the first bullet. Boom. Boom. That might have missed. Yeah, I think the first one might have missed. Like, you really gotta aim for the open wound. Okay? Nope, I missed. I missed again. At least I got it the first time, right? I also wouldn't totally recommend practicing it from a restart encounter unless you want to do it in the run, alright? Because the bloater's in a different position. When you do this shot here, you're hitting a he's not moving yet. Okay? The first one gave you armor hit mark. Yeah, you can tell by the hit marker the reticle gives you. If it shows armor, it's probably not going to kill on the second one. But when you do it from a restart encounter, he's going to be stationary. Okay? So you do it like that. When you do it on a first try thing, he's already moving towards you. So, yeah. I keep missing. Again, it's probably not beneficial to practice it from a restart encounter either. There we go. I did a leap. Okay. I mean, the closer you can get him to you, the more damage it's gonna do, so... There. There. There we go. See that? It's doable. It's just very, very difficult. Okay? I will show that off, like, one more time. I don't feel like doing it again, because who knows how long that's gonna take. But yeah, it's doable. It's doable. Incredibly difficult, but doable. Boom. 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 Make sure you aim low enough and towards the open wound. Okay? The Molotov strat was a lot easier, but we now use a Molotov in a different area. And I'm gonna jump around a little bit because it has to do with the Molotov. So in this area, we used to use a Molotov. We don't anymore. So where do we use the Molotov? Let me show you. Okay, we are at Henry's. We're going to do the encounter when we first meet up with Henry. We're going to use a Molotov now. Now, I need to show this. I know we're jumping around a bit, but back in the truck push, which is also new, but I'll get to that a little bit later. Something new we're doing is we're not picking up the modded melee weapon. We don't need the crafting ingredients that it gives us, but we don't need to use the modded melee weapon in truck push, and we would normally use the modded melee weapon right here. We don't need to do that anymore. So not picking up the modded weapon, because there's a new strategy in truck push, which I will show right after this, and we use a Molotov right here, we don't need the modded weapon. So that saves time picking it up because it avoids the little tutorial prompt that pops up. But it also, we don't need it anymore. And we don't need it because this is the new way to do it. So we don't need a modded weapon, so we don't need to craft it here.
Real close.
And we're gonna swap to this. It doesn't really matter what you use here. You use whatever you have, like, what you use depends on what you have, okay? If you have an extra rifle bullet, use a rifle bullet. But we're going to take out all 3 enemies on the bottom floor without using any guns. The enemies upstairs, we still have to. But this is done in a very specific way, okay? So here we go.
We did it. Not bad, old timer.
Now you can either use a pistol or swing a pipe at him twice. But Henry's right, pretty much right here. He was a little bit delayed, which is what I...
Through this.
And then restart encounter. He was a little bit delayed, which is why I mentioned if you want to, you can run around and swing a pipe at the enemy twice. But that's pretty much it. And the benefit with that strategy is, again, you don't need the modded weapon. You don't need to use a bullet on the bottom floor like we used to do. But it's also just faster. This is about 6 to 7 seconds faster. Because also what used to be a problem is we would wait for Henry to go in front of us. That way he never slowed down. But by doing it this way, he's moving very, very quickly. He's not really an issue. Now, the one thing that you didn't see is I got alerted on the bottom floor. It's like, oh yeah, you threw a Molotov. Of course you're alerted. I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking more like you have to let the enemy see you before the Molotov lands. So you saw it once, I'll go over it. We still collect the alcohol over here. Now, I used to leap over this box right here. I don't do that anymore because I would be far enough to the right that, like, the second enemy in line would lose sight of us briefly. So I run to the left so he's always, like, looking at us. So right around the time when the lock-on shows up, you want to manually throw it right in between the two. And then right before it lands, you can see him right there. He's flinching. That's what you want. So that Molotov kills both of them, and it injures this guy. So you deliver one flat-footed swing, and he's dead. You get the pipe, and Henry is right there. You can see the left side of his head right there. He's very close to the car, and he's sprinting. That's what you want. So you don't have to wait for him. You can just go. All right?
We did it.
You can see he's ahead of the kids as well. And then you do what the strategy normally is. Now, I'd say he's a little bit more lagged behind compared to, like, the other strat you're doing. That's why you could possibly, like, save a pistol bullet here and melee him twice. But you can see Henry's still really fast. Now, if you kill these enemies right here without technically triggering an alert, Henry won't be sprinting, and he'll still be back in that room. And then what ends up happening is these enemies right here don't run outside. That's been the core of the strategy since the very beginning. You need to get alerted on the bottom floor so these two enemies run outside. If they don't, they'll still be stuck in that doorway. Okay? So I'll do that again. Let me skip ahead a bit. Alright, so let's do that again. Again, right here you can use whatever you want. If you have an extra rifle, use it. If you have extra revolver, use it. But I like to do this. Here we go. Get the alcohol. Sprint. Go to the left of the crate. Throw. Boom. Give a little peek over to Henry. Yeah, he's right there. He's sprinting, which means I'll get alerted. Or, I was alerted. Now I'm gonna do this strategy to save a bullet, just to see if it works. Henry should be sprinting in here. Yeah, he is. Alright, that was good. Henry was a little bit lagged behind, but no, that was it. It saves a bullet, or an arrow, and it's faster than what we were doing. And the new strat in the high school doesn't lose any time if you get it, because you're still waiting for the two runners anyway. So yeah, this is, if done perfectly and Henry's cooperative, it saves somewhere between 6 and 7 seconds. It's a lot of time save. Okay, I'll show it again, but yeah, let me skip ahead. Okay. And one more time. Okay, that was my fault.
We did it.
Henry's still climbing up, though. See that one? I should have thrown it a bit earlier. Still works, though. And again, if you don't want to use a bullet, you can do this. Henry is, okay, he was a bit lagging behind. Whatever. I didn't do it right, so Henry, that probably messed up Henry. Here's what can go wrong. I want to show you what can go wrong. It doesn't work as well from a restart encounter, but here's what can go wrong. So I was never alerted. Now watch Henry.
We did it.
He's jogging.
Not bad, old timer.
He's jogging. That means you weren't alerted. And when you're not alerted, these enemies walk out of here. They don't run. So then, like, what could you possibly do that also manipulates Henry? Henry's never gonna, like... Henry's never going to start sprinting. So, yeah, it's important that you get alerted. Not like the Molotov throw doesn't trigger an alert. See, like if I just... And you can tell. If you're not alerted, Henry jogs.
We did it.
If he sprints, that means you were alerted. So he's kind of the giveaway. No alert was triggered, and it's because they never saw me. Okay? So yeah, it's not done the same from a restart encounter, but from here... I don't even think that worked either. Oh, they're sprinting. There we go. Okay, so it's something like that. You want to go to the left of that box, okay? Then the strat is the same as before. Again, if you want to save a bullet, you can do this. There he is. And then he runs in. So yeah, play around with that yourself. Yeah, the strategy is worth using a Molotov and not using a Molotov in the gym. I would say this is really, really worth it. But okay. That's it for here. And again, if you leap over that box after picking up the alcohol, I think the car that's there is going to be in the way of the guy who spots you, which is like the guy in the middle. The enemy to the left, middle, and right. The guy in the middle is supposed to spot you. If you leap over the box, the car's going to interrupt his line of sight for just a brief second, and that's enough to make it so you won't get alerted. So, and if you throw the molly too close, you end up taking damage. You also have to crouch before the molly lands, otherwise Joel will like, ugh. So you have to crouch when it lands. Okay, so yeah, play around with it. You'll see what I mean when you try it yourself. Okay, that's it for here. Let's focus on another area. I mentioned truck push. All right, up next, like I mentioned, is truck push. Now, the first and second waves are exactly the same. It's the third wave that's different. What's different about it? We're going to nail bomb the spawn, the very first enemy that crawls out of like the bushes and the trees. And that prevents the spawn of like 3 others. It's one clicker that spawns in first and then 3 runners right after that. If you nail bomb the spawn and you do it correctly, it prevents the spawn of the 3 runners. Now, just like I mentioned with the Henry strat, we're not picking up the modded weapon. Okay? We're going to leave that there. We're never going to pick one up.
All right,
because we don't need it for this fight and for Henry's now because of the Molotov. And we don't want to waste the 3 seconds of the little pop-up menu.
Already did it.
So I'll just go from here. We can do this as many times as we want. Now, it's not so much just nail bombing us the general area. It does have to go in a pretty specific spot. I'll get through the first 2 spots, though. Oh, I missed. I suck.
Good job, kid.
That still prevents the spawn of the other 2.
Shit.
Yeah, the strat's similar, actually, to this. Like right here, what we do.
Back to the truck.
Nope, I need that side. You know what? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna nail bomb the spawn of the clicker on the 3rd wave. So I'll show you. So I'll intentionally not get truck push. So this isn't any different. Oh, Bill. Okay, so here we go. So when you get right here, throw it about right there. And then... And there you go.
You know that, Joel, huh? All right, Ellie, get ready.
Now this serves a couple purposes.
All right, Ellie, start it up.
So you want to let it go right about here. Sometimes what will happen is you will throw it there, it'll detonate, but the runners will still spawn in. That's because it has to go in a pretty specific spot. It needs to blow up on detonation, okay? And you've seen from my financial districts that, you know, The nail bomb lands, and then it explodes maybe a second to a second and a half later. So throwing it just isn't enough. You need to, like, give it some time to roll. And this is all on a little bit of an incline. So when you throw it right around... I aim, like, right around here, because he crawls out from there, but you need to give it a little bit of time to roll. Okay? You need to give it a little bit of time to roll. And then that will happen. Here, it's a little bit faster if I just... You know what? Let me just skip ahead, and I'll show it to you again. So again, this is the second wave. You use 4 shotgun shells. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't have much time. Back to pushing.
You do it that fast every time. And then right here. Right about there. And then... Okay, that one didn't work. See, this is what happens. Like, didn't that look like it was just the same as before? Well, didn't quite work. And if that happens, that could be a problem. See, Bill needs help, I need help. I mean, what you'd end up doing is just... Shotgun, shotgun. Bill, he's so helpful. You'd have to improvise. Basically do the strat that we normally do at that point, which is just like 2 shotgun, bottle, and then Bill takes 1 himself. Yeah. Yeah, that one looked like it was good, but it wasn't for some reason. Again, it has to be in a very specific spot. That's the tricky part of this. It's not just some generic spot. It has to be specific. There's some RNG with the nail bomb like rolling down the hill. I probably had to throw it a little bit further. I'll try it again. Try it again. Bill. You don't need the brick. But then right here, find the spot and then maybe right around there. And then there we go. See that? Now, not only does this save time, a very noticeable amount of time, it also saves shotgun ammo. Normally, I would have more shotgun ammo here, so you pretty much always have 3 or 4 leaving here. That's been my experience. You end up leaving here with a guaranteed 3 or 4. Which is, if you have 4, that's 1 more than you like normally leave with here. And if you have 3, you don't have to worry. You do everything else the same, but you don't have to worry about drops later on. Because I've lost runs to not having at least 2 shotgun shells for sewers. So if you have 4, you can do sewers even faster, or you can use a shotgun shell at Henry's like I was doing. That's why. Because you need 2 or 3 for sewers, and it's always better to have more. But yeah, play around with that. The nail bomb has to go in a pretty specific spot, as you saw. But, yeah. Now, we're using it. We don't have an extra nail bomb to use. We're using one of the 2 nail bombs we use. So, what do we do with, in an area where we used to use a nail bomb? We used 2 nail bombs in this run. It used to be at Financial District and in the hotel basement. Since we're going to use a nail bomb here now, hotel basement is done a little bit differently. We still need the nail bomb for financial, but hotel basement now is done a little bit differently. Alrighty, hotel basement. This was always such a good strategy. I want to do a reminder of what the strategy used to look like. We always used to drop a nail bomb right here, and then it would detonate on impact. And then we would do this. Run around the bottom for a while. Sprint upstairs, get the brick, get the key card. Let the stalkers pass. There's 2 of them. That's kind of terrible. No, it was never perfect, but, you know, doable. doable enough. So that was always the best way to do this spot. This new strategy is not faster. I know it sounds weird. We're going to do a new strategy that's slower than that. And I wouldn't even call it any more consistent. But we really want to use that nail bomb and truck push, not only for the time save, but for the extra shotgun ammo. So yeah, we'll see if I can't get this right. I have a video ready to show you. So a no nail bomb hotel basement looks like this. We're gonna come up here and run along the side. It didn't work. That's the tough part right there, is getting along this ledge. That should work. Yeah, there we go. And then that looks good. This is all very specific. Okay, I'll explain it all later.
Damn it.
Should be good. That was a little close there. Yeah, and then we're good. The rest is the same. Okay, let me pull up Uranto's example. It's pretty much the same thing that I did, but I'll just pull up his video as an example. There we go. I know, it's dark. You're gonna run along the ledge, like so. How you want to do it is up to you. Play around with it. You collect the key card, and what you want to do is keep the camera off of the stalkers. The stalkers spawn in the moment you pick up the key card. Now what you want to do, well, after you pick it up, crouch, keep the camera off of them, but crouch before you leave here. Because the stalkers are spawned in, but they won't start moving around until you clear this doorway, combined with not looking at them. So if you crouch your way through the doorway, they will do the same thing every time. And you can actually hear them as well. Here, listen. Right there, they don't start moving until you're through the doorway. And then what you want to do is like hang up here for a little bit. The stalkers will almost always do the same exact thing every time, as long as you like hang upstairs for a little bit. Okay? So after you walk your way through the doorway, it has to be a crouch. Hang in the corner here for like 1 second and then go downstairs. Now this one's hard to see. You'll know you'll get it because look right here. See the arms right there? When you hop down, you'll see a stalker's arms right there. And then you go for the generator. Now after the generator, you saw it was a little scary. Turn around with a bottle and don't sprint. So there can either be a stalker right here, right there, or coming down the ramp. So you basically want to turn around jogging to see what you get. I don't see anyone, so I'm going to be on the lookout there. I don't see anyone. And then just go this way. Once you make it upstairs, the strat is the same as before. Run for the door. And the bloater will almost always be on the bottom floor as well. So yes, that is the new hotel basement, which is about 3 to 4 seconds slower. But it allows us to use that nail bomb and truck push, which offers more than one benefit from time and ammo. So, Stalker AI is dependent on where the camera looks. Yeah, as long as it's off of them, it should be okay. So we can do this as many times as we want. So, unpatched loading screens are a pain. Yeah, I'll do it a couple times and just verbalize what I'm looking at for what I'm doing. And this can be a tricky part. You want to make your way up here. That should work. Nope. I don't think there's like a consistent way to get this. There's different ways you can try it, like going backwards maybe. Yeah, maybe going backwards. Okay, pick this up, crouch. Hang in the corner here for like 1 second. Hop down. There's the stalker over there. I saw his arms. You need a good eye to see it, but I saw it. You should be clear. Now be very gentle when you turn around here. Bottle in hand. He was too quick. Oh, God, run around. There's the bloater. Okay, that was kind of a disaster. I was too slow to react. He was kind of like right in my face. But, yeah. Made it through. Yeah, he was like right in my face. Okay. I'll just do this again to see what I get. You gotta let go of sprint and hold it back down to not fall. Okay. Right here? Apparently. No. Practice this on your own. Okay, I'm not too good at it. I kind of like walking backwards here. Anyway. Pick it up, crouch. Hang here for like 1 second, then go down. There, I saw the stalker. You'll have time to turn this on. Oh my god. That's rough. There wasn't really anything I could do there. Yeah, this isn't... I wouldn't say this is a better strategy. But again, it allows us to use the nail bomb in truck push, which I say is worth it. But, yeah, this no longer becomes like a guaranteed or perfect area. As you saw, you're guaranteed to not get hit while you're pulling the string on the generator. But, yeah, it's a little rough around the edges in its current state, I would say. That's good. Crouch. Hang up here for 1 second. Go down. I see the stalker's arms. You can sprint for the generator. Just go. There's a bottle right there if you notice one like in front of you here. The way should almost always be clear. But yeah, I didn't do the best job showing that off, but that's the strat as it exists right now. If you can find something like that, strategy is good, like all the way up until you have to, like the generator is turned on. After that, yeah, it's a little rough around the edges, but you know, maybe something better will be found going forward, but that's a setup to just be able to turn on the generator. If you go for the generator first, 1,000 times out of 1,000, you're gonna get hit while you're pulling the string, the generator. So this guarantees that you don't get hit there. Afterwards, yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot, honestly. Play around with it though. All right, play around with it. Maybe you'll find something that works for you, like jogging then sprinting, or maybe starting a sprint and then slowing up, or something. But yeah, there's that. Unfortunately, I think it makes this area a little bit harder. But truck push is better. So there's that. Okay, on to the next area. All right, next up is a few floors up. Hotel. Now, there's a couple things here. I'll start off with the main one. It's pretty easy. So the strategy right here is we used to let go of sprint and then hold it back down. Because if you sprint the entire way, you end up getting alerted. But there's something else you can do that's consistent. Did you like the confidence in my voice? Whatever. It looks like this. Oh, shit. Get down. Okay, not that. Well, you still didn't hear that. Well, I will say that's why you need to do it early. Let me show you exactly what it is. There you go. See that? If you start the swing too late, it locks onto the guy that's just standing there. But, now again, it's the same thing. You can't hold on to sprint the entire time you're herd. So you do that sprinting swing, you immediately let go of sprint, and then you jog like one step forward and then start sprinting again. And you're good. And this works in a couple other different areas as well. It works here, it works in graveyard right after the doggy door. I even think it works in the top floor of the hospital. A little too squeamish to try it there, but you know, any spot where you have to slow down a little bit and then sprint again. Oh, shit. I'm just showing it off here. And that can't be any more than like half a second faster. As for what the next new strategy is, normally, right here, we would go back and get the supplements in the drawer, but I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we don't need to do that. And the strategy here used to be the guy in the back would go into a room, that guy would go into a room, we kill him, and then we go. Well, what we're going to do instead, again, we don't need the supplements, so this allows us to do this. We're going to crouch right here, get here, and then arrow the second guy, which can be tough, but he's like, if you aim far enough to the right, you'll hit him. Then crouch back down and get the guy in front of you. Because of the new Henry strat, you're guaranteed to not need to use an arrow there with the Molotov. And you're firing 2 arrows, so you're very likely to get 1 back. So, yeah, I'll show you what that looks like here. And I'll combine the new swing strat. It's not new, I just haven't done it. Oh, shit. Get down, get down. Swing, let go, sprint. Start it up again. Just like that. And it's clearly not a big time save, but it does save time. Okay, here we go. Crouch. If you sprint past there, you are alerted. Make sure you get behind this thing, and then... Oh, I missed. Damn it. Well, you want to hit him. Nope, not him. You want to hit the guy in the middle. That's kind of the tough part, okay? Now, if you do it too early and you kill them, they notice it. They see it. So my timing for this is I get to about here, and then I do that, get down, and then do that. Okay? I may have tried to do it too early there. And what this strategy does is there was always the RNG of the second guy. Sometimes he'd go in the room to the right away, and other times he would take a really long time. So this is approximately, if done correctly, I haven't done it correctly yet, approximately 5 seconds faster than the slowest version, which happens pretty frequently, and 3 seconds faster than the previous fastest version. So this one is good. It just, you got to practice it a little because the shots can be difficult. The further right you are of the desk you're in front of, the easier it'll be to get the guy in the middle because it's kind of tough. And again, don't do it too late. Don't do it too early. There's a timing for it. I usually crouch right up to it and then aim. That's my timing method for it. I haven't shown it off perfectly yet, so let's do that, shall we? Swing, let go, sprint, start up again. Just a little bit faster. Just a little bit. Okay, here we go. Crouch. Get to the left of this thing.
All right. Search these rooms.
His arm got in the way. So yeah, I'm struggling to show you a good one. I'll get it though. Here, let me skip ahead to a perfectly performed one. These are all the things that can go wrong with it, by the way. But that's why you want to aim as far to the right as you possibly can to avoid that from happening. Okay? And I guess I'm noticing it now. Aim a little bit low. That way the guy's arm isn't in the way. This way. He's like, search these rooms. I think it hit his arm. So aim low if you can. But it's one of those things, just like the original strat, you got to duck down behind the dresser. But let me get it perfectly here. Here. Crouch.
All right. Search these rooms.
There we go. And then get the arrows. If we do the new truck push strategy, you won't need shotgun ammo, okay? If he drops the arrows, get them back, even though you have to crouch for them. If both arrows break, I recommend shivving the one enemy in Financial District, like right in the middle. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I recommend aiming lower, because if you do time it like that, the guy's arm is going to be in the way. Search these rooms. The arrow could hit the arm. So I aimed lower, and it worked great. So, yeah, I'll do that one more time. All right. Remember, aim low. Crouch. Go left. Aim when you hit the corner here.
Search these rooms.
Got him. And then get the bottle before you go. And get any arrows they dropped. And then go. Again, not only is that faster than like the fastest way to get it the old way, but it also prevents like the slowest thing from happening. So that's 5 seconds faster than the slowest version and 3 seconds faster than the previous faster version. And if you don't end up being short on arrows later, then yeah, it's a good strategy. But practice it a lot, because that first arrow is tough. You can't miss, and you can't hit the guy in front. You got to hit the guy in the middle. The guy in the back doesn't really care, okay? Again, if you shoot the guy in the middle too early, they will see it. But that shouldn't really happen to you. Yeah, that's kind of all there is to mention. The comfort is going to come from you practicing it, not me showing it over and over. So, yeah. Nice new discovery. And let's move on to the next one. All right. We are in winter, right after Callus dies. And,
James told me it's the girl from the university. How many of our guys?
yeah, this new strategy is a bit risky, but it does save a good amount of time. So let me do it once. Doing it from up the hill versus doing it from here, you pretty much get the same thing. How about I show off what the old strategy used to be? That is, if I remember how to do it. I think I remember how to do it. Yeah, it's a little something like this. I liked this strategy for a good while, but there's something that's better.
How many of our guys were killed here?
Where'd they go?
There's a faster way to do that, but that should be familiar with some of you. I'm only realizing now how much easier this new strategy is. Okay, this is the new way to do it. I feel like there's still some kinks to work out with it, but let's just give it our best shot. Okay, so this is the new strategy.
You hear something? Yeah, I heard it too.
Okay. Where do I go? Where'd they go? Here we go. Okay. Don't fall in the water. Don't fall in. Oh, shit.
We're gone. So yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a little bit easier for me to break it down slowly this way. So yeah, as you can see, we don't really have to kill anyone. There is an option to kill one, but that's pretty much it. Okay, so you start out by firing this arrow, and these arrows go far. That arrow doesn't have to be anywhere specific. Somewhere on, like, you see that, like, let's see. You see, like, that part of the roof right there that angles that way? Fire it somewhere there by the bathrooms. The rest of the enemies haven't spawned in yet because we haven't progressed far enough into the area. So this distraction really is just for these two guys. So you succeeded. Now this one's a little bit more specific. You see the line on the roof? The reticle is like right on it. The rooftop has like these little lines on it. You want to fire the arrow with the reticle over the line, and you want to let go like right about there. And then that one is to distract an enemy that's just to your left. Now you have to slow up there for just a second, and then once more somewhere on the stairs. Otherwise you get alerted. So the two enemies that normally hop down right here, they're there, but that arrow that we fired over the roof, the second arrow, it distracted them, so it needs to be to their left. Now there's an enemy to my right here. There's an enemy right to Ellie's left. There's that enemy right there, and then there's the two enemies that climb down. The second arrow you fire has to distract all of them. That one is just to distract the one to your left. I'll show you. Now, the enemies in the back, the two of them, they don't spawn in until right there. So, you can't fire the arrow too early, otherwise it'll never distract them, because they're not spawned in yet. You do it too late, their vision, they take an extra step, so their vision might be better. So the arrow has to go far enough to the left so that they're looking left, but not too far left, so this enemy over here to the right doesn't hear it. If he doesn't hear it, he's walking towards you, he'll see you. So when I explain it, it's distracting. It's complicated, but the actual process of doing it is somewhat simple. So that one is a generic fire, and then that looked good. And then that one's just for distraction. So that guy's looking, they're looking. Here's this guy. Okay, he would normally be looking this way.
Where'd they go?
If I didn't distract him. Okay? They're very frozen, though, which is kind of funny. They eventually wake up again. But, yeah. The other way that I was sort of instructed in the beginning to do is this.
I heard it too.
Okay. Where do I go?
This guy. That's why I kind of prefer not to do that. You can be, like, the corner here and then, like, do that, which works, but it wasn't working that well for me. So that is an option if you find that ends up working for you. I just don't prefer it. The same amount of supplies have to be used, and this is the same speed as the other one. So I personally don't do that way, but you can if you want. Okay, so again, that arrow is just to distract these two enemies. Let me show you this one right here. You see the lines on the rooftop right here, like there, 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 and there. I get right about here and I fire it just about right there.
Okay.
Now what happened right there, those enemies those enemies up there, they didn't hear it because they weren't spawned in. Let me actually show you them spawning in.
Hey, I heard something. Yeah.
Okay, watch this. Look way in the back. It's kind of hard to see, but look way in the back. I'm going to inch my way forward. There they are. See that? They just spawned in. So right about halfway between these two things is when they spawn in. So you don't want to fire your arrow right here and then have it land before they spawn in, okay? So it's a delicate timing with this. There's a delicate timing with this. I'll
You hear something? Yeah.
do it like this. So I go right about there. And then one more right there.
Where do I go?
Right, that worked. Now if you sprint the whole way, you're alerted. That's why. Right around, you see the patch of dirt right there? See the patch of dirt right there? When it changes from dirt to snow, I let go of sprint for a second and then hold it back down. It's kind of the same logic I mentioned in the hotel with the swinging melee weapon. If you sprint the whole way, you're alerted. So you need to slow up just for a second, just for 1 second, and then start up again. And then the same thing on the stairs behind Ellie. You have to do that once there. But, yeah, it works. It saves... I don't know if it saves an arrow, but we had to use 4 arrows before, and hopefully you got one back. Here you only have to use 3. And this is what you need for the lodge. We use 3 arrows. You need 1 rifle and 2 arrows. Now, if you're short, you can also replace the arrow distraction with a bottle. Okay? So here, I'll do that.
Watch yourself.
But,
Where do I go?
let go. Hold back down. We're good. And then go. And here's just proof if you sprint the whole way.
Come on.
So again, right there, you just want to let go for 1 second, then hold back down. So if you have a bottle, you can use that too. I don't think that's faster than using an arrow because Ellie's like flat-footed and then it takes her a while to start up again. But if you only have, let's say, 4 arrows in 1 rifle or 5 arrows in 1 rifle, it's probably best to use a bottle there instead, right? And if you don't have a bottle, ending coal mine, there's one right here, so hold down triangle. There's one right there, and then you can go. Okay, I happen to leave with a bottle, but if you don't and you have to use one, like if you have 5 in 1, you can use all arrows, okay? Because she loses all of her stuff when David chokes her out in the lodge. So yeah, there's nothing much more to mention here. That one is, again, generic. It just needs to distract them a bit to the right. Fire it right about there. And again, here's this guy right here. So you can't just go. You either have to kill him or distract him like I was doing. So, yeah. Okay, a couple more times. And we'll move on to the next one. And we'll see if anything weird happens. So yeah, this second arrow is like the strat right here. But that should be good.
Okay. Where do I go?
Okay, that I think means I didn't mess up the sprinting. There was something wrong with the arrow that I fired. That's what that means. Yeah, the second arrow you fired is going to make or break whether this area works, okay? And I'm not exactly sure where that sweet spot is, okay? Like I mentioned, it has to distract the 2 enemies at the end to look left. The guy to my left has to hear it. The guy behind the bathrooms to the right has to hear it as well. So it's a very, very delicate position. And again, I try and like aim my arrow at the same spot in the ground every time, and I try and fire it right about there every time.
Okay. Where do I go?
Let go. Hold back down. And you're home free at that point. And then right here, maybe just like let go. Hold back down. That works. And then you're good. And again, that distraction arrow, you can also use a bottle. I'm also letting go of sprint when I fire these arrows. Because it doesn't really matter if you have sprint held down or not. She doesn't really start up her sprint that fast. It's not like Remake or Part 2 where she starts up right away again. And I also just don't want to risk it with holding sprint down for too long past some invisible lines here. You're right about there. And again.
Okay. Where do I go?
Okay. Go back down.
Where'd they go?
Just like that. So yeah, that's the new strategy. It's definitely a lot more simple. But that second arrow is very precise. The top runners, like, some of them fire a second shot so that it hits this thing consistently. And if it does, it doesn't break. It's... You know what? Just one more time. Because I do it a little bit differently than they do, I think. I usually just point the camera up and then fire the moment it gets above the rooftop. Like that.
Okay. Where do I go?
Yeah, that works. Find the second arrow spot that works for you. Some people say, like, oh, you gotta pull the string all the way back and then do it. Meanwhile, I'm just doing like that. Just find what works for you, and yeah. But it's a good strategy. I'm a big fan of some of the other new strategies, like the gymnasium and the hotel basement. Like, not a super big fan of those just yet. This one I really, really like. And it's faster. It's faster by quite a bit. At this moment in time, I don't know by, like, how much. But, yeah, use the same amount of supplies, and it is clearly very much faster. And safer. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Alright, we're down to our last two. This is Ellie running through the town after she escapes from David. Now, before I show you the new thing, let me take a stroll down memory lane and show you the way this area used to look. This new strategy isn't that much faster, but here's how we've been doing it for years. This first part is the same. From right here, it's different. But this is how we used to do it.
Where's this kid?
This place is a damn maze.
Hey, who's that?
Now, in the new strategy, if you get alerted like that, which can happen, this strategy remains the same. That guy leaps through the window, you wait till he passes, you run around that thing, and then the enemies leave. If you get alerted the same way I did before, then you do this, what I just did, as a backup. And then that's that. That being said, new strategy, when done perfectly with perfect RNG, can be 2.5 to 3 seconds faster. With bad RNG, but done perfectly, it's still about 1 second faster than what I just showed you. But it's a very strange strategy. Okay? You can do this as many times as we want, so let's just go. Like I mentioned, the beginning is the same.
Whoa!
Okay, here's where it becomes different.
They're everywhere. Which way? This place is a damn maze. Where do I go? Where are they?
That was absolutely perfect. Nothing faster than that, at least right now. Okay, so let's go over it. I'm glad I was able to get, like, the best RNG, the best performance. That was exactly how it was supposed to look. Okay, so right here, just like in the section I just showed off before, if you sprint the entire way, you're alerted. So I usually like to stop sprinting at around right here, and then start up again like a second to a second and a half later. Now this one's weird. Right here, we're actually doing a spawn prevention. If you run up the stairs hugging the right side of the wall, an enemy doesn't spawn in. If you go here and then go over there, there's an enemy waiting for you at the top of the stairs. It's very strange.
Which way?
But there's no one in front of us because we ran up the stairs that way. You have to do a vault over this. If you run through the opening there, you're alerted. So you have to do a vault over this. Now, that enemy right there, he's either right here or to the right of the shed, just kind of like the way the strat used to be. If he's to the left here, you can do what I did and just sprint under this thing and grab the bottle, and he won't hear you. If he does hear you, that's when you do the strat that we used to do, where I wait by the hole in the wall and the guy comes through the window, and then the strategy we used to do. If he's to the right, you run to where the enemy is right now, you go that way, and then just as you get to like the corner of this shed right here, you look at him, you let go of sprint right here, and then start your sprint again. I'm sure that'll happen to me at some point when I show this to you a few times. But yeah, that's two different things that can happen right here. This right here is faster though. Now right here, there's two different things you can get. Well, three. If you're alerted, you do what the strat used to be. But right here, there's no dialogue. So the strat becomes crouch through here and then sprint leap through the window. If you go any faster than that, do you see the enemy that's right there? You can see like his elbow. If you're too fast, he's further to the left and he'll either spot you or hear you. Okay, so once you make it through the hole in the wall, it's not a race to get to the window because you need time for him to keep moving this way. Okay? Now, I mentioned, if there's no dialogue, what I mean by dialogue is sometimes there's a line, what if she bites someone? Relax, she's not biting anyone. That's the dialogue that they normally have here. Sometimes that can trigger in. And if that happens, you only have to change one thing. There was no dialogue, so when you leap through the window, you can run to the right of that little, I think it's a thing that holds newspapers in or something. If you do get the dialogue, you have to run around it to the left like we used to. You also have to run around it to the left if you're doing like the you got alerted strategy. Regardless of what you get, you run forward. Now, right here, you see the enemy to my right here? He can be in two different places. He's either there or he's like right here, walking this way. No matter what you get, you basically do the same thing. Now, he's to the right, so I'm going to go left. If he's to the left, you want to stay like parallel to those benches that were just there. Okay? But we have to do this one more time. We have to stop our sprint and then start it again. Otherwise, you're alerted. Now, the spot for that is at the edge of this table right here. I'll call it a table. If you sprint past the edge of this first table, you're alerted. So right around here, regardless of what you get, you want to stop and then start. Again, if he's to the right, you go left. If he's to the left, you hang right and then eventually end up going this way. But everything that I just showed you is and there's always a guy guarding it, but you want to bottle him. What I just showed you right there is the best RNG you can get, and it was all done absolutely perfectly. All right, so I'll show you some things that can go wrong. When you do a restart encounter here, you can't do the strategy where you run through because it just doesn't work. So just as like so I don't have to keep loading the file over and over, I'm just going to go this way. This isn't the strategy you normally do, but yeah. So anyway, if you sprint this whole way,
Come on!
see, they know we're there. See, did you hear the alert? So regardless of if you're alerted or not, you have to stop at some point.
They're everywhere.
So again, I usually stop, start. Maybe it'll happen right here. You see how there's an enemy there? I'll show you this next part. I'm spending extra time here because this is a pretty specific area. Okay, right here, it doesn't matter if you're alerted or not.
Now she's infected.
Let's clean this mess up, and we can...
Okay, so let go, hold back down. Now watch this.
Which way?
Oh, shit!
It's such a weird thing, but I think this has to do more with, you know, when you're going up the stairs, the wall's to your right, the railing is to your left. If you're touching the railing when you're going up, it spawns in this enemy. I honestly don't know if it has to do with the camera or Ellie's positioning. I'm pretty sure it has to do with just where Ellie is. So what I do is when I start up the stairs, I keep the camera still and I just make sure Ellie's just going in a perfectly straight line, closer to the right side than the left. Okay? You just apparently you just got to walk straight, okay? But it's better to use like the right side of the stairs. That's usually what works for me. So that's a very, very strange part of this, okay?
I've been saying it for months.
Again, don't go this way when you're doing it your first try.
Now she's infected.
Let's clean this mess up.
We're just putting the things together so far. Let go, sprint, hold it back down. And then you just kind of got to walk in a straight line. That removes this enemy from spawning, and you have to leap over this, otherwise you're alerted by the enemy behind you. There's a lot of instances in this game where if you sprint for too long, like consecutively, you're just alerted. Okay, here's the RNG with the guy on the right side instead of the left. You saw the left, you just go under the tree, pick up the bottle, and go. But if he's there, you do this. Now, let go. And just go, okay? Okay, do you see that? That was weird. He's not always looking at you. Sometimes he turns around and he's looking the other way. But regardless of if he's looking at you or looking away, if you sprint the entire way, you're alerted instantly. So again, when you get to the edge of like where that shed is, regardless of if he's looking your way or the other way, you have to stop your sprint for about 1 second and then go. And you saw he was right in front of us looking at us and he still didn't notice us. Okay? Now, if you just saw right here, what if she bites someone? This is what I was talking about. If you go that way, you're alerted. So when you leap through the window, you want to run around and that will prevent the alert. Okay? That's what I was talking about earlier. So we'll do this a few more times, and that's pretty much everything. I'll show you getting alerted at the end to show you. Yeah. It took me a while to feel comfortable with this, because there's a lot of different things the game can throw at you. And also, like, the reasons for why things work or don't work. There's a lot to this. Okay, so let go. Hold back down. Walk in a straight line. Apparently, that's all it takes. Alright, he's over there again. So I'm gonna let go. Hold back down. Get that bottle for the very last enemy. Dialogue? Alright, there's dialogue. So, remember, it's not a race to the window. We're gonna go this way. No alert. Okay? Now watch what happens if you sprint too far. And then that's just not fun, okay? So, and it happened right about where I said it would, right at the edge of the first table, okay? And again, that guy was to the right, but he can be to the left. Just something to pay attention to. Look for it. That's about it. Let me go from, like, where you would in a run. It places us in a weird spot when you do it from a restart encounter. This is where it normally places you. Okay.
I need a gun.
Here we go. Again, when you do a restart encounter, this strategy right here doesn't work. Here we go. Let go of sprint. Hold it back down. Straight line.
Which way?
Turn. He's over there. So we're going to go this way. That's bad RNG right there. Let go of sprint. Hold it back down. That's about all the time you need to do that. we got the dialogue, so
I'm saying we can have a real
boom,
situation here.
run around. We're good. Where is this enemy? He is to the right, so we're gonna go left, but stop sprinting. Start. Just get rid of him. And then go. Alright, there was some bad RNG thrown in there. There's two things there. One, there was the two things of bad RNG was the guy to the right of the shed, and then they were conversing. What if she bites someone? You gotta go a little bit slower. I'll do this one more time. But yeah, that's the basics of it. Yeah, there's a lot of different angles to this area. That's a good way of wording it. There's more to it than meets the eye. All of this, again, is the example I showed in my record, the old way we used to do it. Actually, I want to compare the two. Remember, the first example was perfect. Actually, you know what? Before I do one example, let me actually compare the two. Okay, this will just take a second. Okay, watch this. So on the left is my record, which was the old strat done perfectly, and on the right is the new strategy, which was done perfectly with perfect RNG. Okay, and I'm going to start them up at the corner of the wall. So they are perfectly lined up side by side.
Which way?
That enemy's to the left. When he's to the left, it's faster and it's easier. You just sprint the entire way. And just make sure to get the bottle. Again, if you're alerted, you do what the strat is in my current record. But the new strat is you just go. And because there was no dialogue, you can just go right for the cars here. Enemies to the right, so you slow up your sprint, and then start it up again, and then just bottle this enemy out of your way. So let's go in the corner. Here. 1, 2. So somewhere between 2 and 2.5 seconds faster. Pitted against perfection here. Okay? So. Yeah, don't think of it as only 2.5 seconds faster. Think of it as 2.5 seconds faster than the previous perfect. Okay? Okay, but we'll do this maybe 1 or 2 more times to see if the game throws any weird curveballs our way.
Oh fuck! Whoa! Oh shit!
Check out this.
Let go. Hold back down. Run in a straight line. That prevents the spawn of this guy. Vault over the thing to prevent an alert. Just gotta trust me on that one. Bottle. If you're alerted here, you do what the old strat is. No dialogue. So that means we can go. And then enemies to the right, so we're gonna go this way. Let go. Hold back down. And then get him out of your way. And then go. That was another example of it being perfectly. I wasn't able to show off the guy in the middle of this part right here being to the left. But again, it's basically the same thing, except instead of turning left towards the exit here, you stay parallel, almost touching the tables that you need to stop sprinting by. And then go left. That's basically the only difference. Yeah. That conveniently takes us into our next new strategy, which saves the most time in this entire video. 12 seconds. Can you believe this? 12 seconds for the David fight. Now I'm going to go from a restart and counter because it's better. I'll update the save file. But, yeah. You can do this without doing a restart and counter, but it's a little more inconsistent, and it's the same speed. The reason it's the same speed is when you go from the beginning, you know, you escape from David, he goes like, "That's all right, there's nowhere to go," and he's like locking the door behind him. And I didn't realize it kind of takes a while for him to lock the door. So the time it takes to restart and counter is just about the time it takes for him to turn around and start walking towards you after he's finished locking the door. When you restart encounter, he starts walking towards you right away. It just makes the strategy that I'm about to show you a lot easier. So the old strategy, we would stab him twice and then run around him and then stab him the third time. We've done it for years. I don't think I need to show that off again.
Easy to track.
But this new strategy, I just want to provide a visual.
How did you do it?
So as soon as you can move her, that's where the checkpoint is. So right about there, where we would restart checkpoint. But look what David's doing.
Nowhere to go.
He locks the door and then he starts doing that. When you restart encounter, he just starts walking towards you. So the moment you can restart encounter, if you just do a restart encounter, it makes what I'm about to do a lot easier, and you lose almost no time. So here we go. This is the new David strat, which, if done perfectly, saves 12 seconds.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
I will go over this a lot.
That was good, kid.
He looks all shiny here.
It's gonna be all right. No, you keep surprised. There you are.
Can you believe that? It's crazy. And it's consistent. That's the crazy thing. So if you were to do this not doing a restart encounter, you would have to do this.
No, you're
Like, go over here, and then go over here,
fights this hard to stay alive.
and basically do the same thing. But if you do it from a restart encounter, it's just a lot easier. So you go here.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
I'll spend a lot of time on that first stab because that's the hardest part of this, okay? So you can hold sprint in anticipation, and then you don't want to get off here. You want to get off here, okay? It helps. And then what you want to do is run parallel to the beam here.
No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
Now you don't want to be over here because he'll spot you. So basically, go this way, and then go over here and crouch.
No one that's infected.
And then go this way. And if you start moving towards him a little too early, he'll turn around. So a good visual is you walk up to the beam that I was against, and then you wait there, and then start moving towards him when he stops running. Okay? So that for me was always a good visual.
No, you're not.
Now don't run to the corner here. You want to run just about right here. Yeah. Reason being is, with this as a visual, it's kind of a difficult visual. You want to keep sprinting so he stays, alerted towards you. But you also want that beam right there to be in his eyesight, so he's not looking at you. Okay? So that's basically it. You want to get off right here, go over here, and then crouch. And then walk this way, and then start going forward right there. And I like to sprint a little bit before I do the stab. That's a personal preference thing. But he'll always stop right here, regardless of if you're going to sprint right before or not. Okay. So again. Boom.
No, you're not infected.
Crouch.
No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
And then go. Okay, now the second one is interesting. The strategy is you want to hold back left on the left stick, and then hold sprint the moment the camera turns back to her. If you hold sprint and then a direction, she's not sprinting. She just doesn't sprint. But if you hold straight left and then sprint right away, Ellie will do this thing where she stands up and then starts moving, and you'll get alerted. I found it's a personal preference thing. You can either hold left and then delay the sprint. I like to hold back left and then sprint. She starts moving right away, and then she sprints in a way that she'll never be alerted. And it's just that first step that works well for me.
That was good, kid.
So again, back left, and then I sprint the moment the camera turns back to her. And then go. And then mash triangle. And then just get around him and mash triangle again. Like that. Isn't that crazy? Now, this is a biggie, okay? If you stab him late, that third stab won't work. Okay, so let me get there again. You can see this done quite a few more times.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
Again, I start moving towards him right when he stops sprinting and goes into a walk with his gun aimed. I suppose I can show you what happens if you hold straight left. I just don't think she moves as quickly.
That was good, kid.
So there's a difference between this and this, okay? I'll do it this way, just to show you. I just don't think that was very good. Now, if you stab him late, like I just did right there, watch what happens if you try and do that third stab. Did you see that? It's weird to see, but like the game wants to stab him, but there's a wall right next to him. Or there's a wall right behind him based on where he is. So the animation glitches out. Now, I was still able to stab him, but what can happen is he turns right around and machetes you. Okay? So I recommend, if you're too slow for the second stab, and that beam is like in the way, don't try and stab him again. And just wait.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard.
Start moving towards him. He always, the corner of this thing right here is when he usually stops. Okay. So again, sprinting straight left worked, but I personally prefer doing it this way.
That was good, kid.
It's more of a guarantee you won't get alerted, and it's still just as fast. Again, right? There. Now I'm going to stab him late. Now right here, I recognize that I stabbed him late. It's a visual thing. The pillar is going to be right like behind him. If you try for that sneaky third stab, there's a good chance that he's just going to kill you. So what you can do instead is just bite the bullet on 3 seconds lost and just go behind him.
I see.
Like this.
Run, little rabbit. Run.
That opportunity for the quick third stab, there's a window that you're able to do it. You saw I was mashing triangle and nothing was happening. That ability to stab him a third time is really only there for like a second to a second and a half. Okay? So yeah, to avoid that like glitched out state that you're in by a triangle press that doesn't work, I recommend just waiting. Okay, run around him and just wait. Kind of like what we used to do. But it's funny, if there's nothing like surrounding him, this third stab super quickly was always a thing. It's just we're always stabbing him in those really tight corridors, so we could never get around him in time. Doing it down here allows that to be possible. So I'll do this a couple more times, and I feel confident that I'll do it perfectly.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected.
Sometimes that cannot work if you sprint too long. Again, you want to sprint long enough so that he keeps paying attention to you, but not too long that he starts being aggressive towards you. And then crouch so that he doesn't spot you, you know. Okay, so sprint.
There you are, Ellie.
This will be close. Oh, there it is. There it is. See, that's what I mean. Right there. See that? That was a fail. That was a fail. And that's the result right there. So if you're not sure, like, think about it this way. I'm about to be killed. A restart encounter, or a death, on original Grounded is brutal. You're back at the very beginning. So, do you want to lose 30 seconds trying to save 3? The answer to that is no. So, if you're going to go for that quick third stab, you need to be confident that you made it there in time. And it's purely visual. You can tell based on how early you do the stab. And your movement has to be clean. I was like bonking and bouncing against the walls trying to do the 180 around the table. Here we go. I wanted to show that off. That's good.
I know you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
If I started moving towards him any earlier, he would have known I was there. So, he will also come down the stairs at like a different time every time.
That was good.
Okay?
Kid.
So that's not the same. That's why the first stab is a bit weird. Here we go. That first step is important.
There you are.
That should be good. See, that was good. That's about as far to the right as he can be for it to work. But yeah, you mash triangle like a madman. Okay?
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
Still worked. Oh, it didn't work. I moved too early. But yeah. That's what I mean, though. Sometimes he's just... He can make it downstairs at, like, a different time every time.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
That's good. Again, I like to do a sprint right before. You're able to, so I do that.
That was good, kid.
Okay, here we go.
It's gonna be alright.
Regardless of what you get on the third stab, you're saving 9 seconds. Oh, that's more than enough time. See that? Way more than enough time.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive. That was good, kid. It's gonna be alright.
Oh, did he hear me?
No, you keep surprising.
Yeah, he did. I had a feeling that happened. Okay, that's what happens if you sprint too early. I had the left stick pointed too far to the left. That's why I want it pointed that way. Even if it might have been like placed there instead of there, that's all it took. But that's the danger of sprinting too early. So the reason I like the down left strategy is because she doesn't stand up right away for some reason. She did there, though.
No, you're not infected. No one that's infected fights this hard to stay alive.
Ooh, that was a good one.
That was good, kid. It's gonna be alright.
Good. So straight down left and then sprint.
Hello, Ellie.
That looks good. Yeah, that one worked as well. The more you practice this, the better you're gonna get, and like the earlier you'll get, like the better you get, the earlier you'll get the second stab, and the less you'll have to second guess yourself on the third one. Okay. But yeah, if you do it exactly like I did it right there, 12 seconds saved over the old strat. 9 seconds if you don't get the fast third stab and don't want to risk it. Isn't that crazy? Shoutouts to Uranto on that one, especially. Okay, that's kind of it, but I do want to throw one more in there as an honorable mention, because right now I don't think it's run ready, but I'll show it off anyway.
He's in here.
Okay, that last spot is hospital. Again, I'm sure something will be found a little later to make this better, but right now I don't think it's quite ready. Apparently Uranto's already using it, but I'm just not quite there, and it's really for one reason. Let's show off what the old strat was.
He's in here.
The one that I still prefer using.
The hell was that?
good with that. I'm comfortable with that. I didn't even take damage. Okay. Here's the new strategy.
He's in here.
It's something like that. Thing I have against it is these enemies to my left. Even though it worked, I can tell based on dialogue of doing this over and over and over that they end up being alerted to my presence and start shooting at me just a little bit earlier. That's really the one thing that I'm like not really ready to experience in a like if I get a record pace that far, I don't want to have to like think about that. You know, it didn't happen there, but it's something that there was one instance where I did this new strategy in practice, and then I was killed before I could even aim the shorty. So, whereas that never happened before. That never happened before. And here's the kicker: that right there is only 0.5 seconds faster. Only. So I don't know if personally if I'm willing to change it that much, all for 0.5 seconds. At surface level, it does look a little bit more simple, but there's a lot of instances where you got to leap over something, let go of sprint, and hold it back down. I feel like that's the theme with today, with all of these new strats. It involves a lot of letting go of sprint and holding it back down. You got to do that a lot here for it to work as well with the new thing. So I just don't really know. And here's how like strangely specific it is, at least the way I do it. Watch this. If I leap through the wrong window, you're alerted, but if I leap through the left window, then I'm not. There's probably involves me having to let go, then hold back down somewhere prior to this. It's a bit of a mystery right now. And again, even this strategy done absolutely perfectly, couldn't be better, is still only half a second faster than the old strat done perfectly. So last level of the game, I don't know if I'm really willing to change it. But I just want to let you know that it's there. And if you can find something that works, that like makes it work, like I can get it to work, I just don't like what the last enemies do. Here, I'll do it the way I know how to do it, even though it might not be the correct way to do it. Right there, you gotta let go. Same thing right here. I was alerted and I let go of sprint twice, you know, so you just gotta trust me. Now that I'm alerted, this won't work, but when I make it to the end of that little hallway there, I just noticed they start shooting at me a little bit earlier compared to the old strat. And all of that over half a second. I thought I did that perfectly and it still didn't work. So you know what? I'm personally not ready to do that, but it's there. Maybe something will be found at some point in the future. Who knows? Who knows? Yes, those are all the new strategies found by Uranto in Last of Us, and for Grounded specifically. I have a bad feeling that these new strategies are going to lose a lot of runs in the two areas I mentioned. The high school gymnasium and the hotel basement. Right now, I'm not like 100% sold on that, on those two, but I love like what we're able to do with the bombs that we're able to have because of those new strategies. You don't use a nail bomb in hotel basement, so we use one in truck push, and we get 7 seconds saved and shotgun ammo. 3, actually. We don't use a Molotov in the gym, and we use it at Henry's, and the Henry strat saves a lot of time. So it's going to be a rough adjustment. I think more like kinks and tweaks need to be found in those two areas specifically, or just some more muscle memory, I guess. But yeah, that's what we got, and a new record just with that David fight strat alone. that a new record is I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I still say with the strategies that were known at the time that my 247.55 was the best run I ever did. But with these new things being found, I still don't think we're at a 246 yet. I don't think we're there yet. But this could put the goal below a 247.30. I think that could be a goal worth trying for with these new things. Because even in my current record, I lost time in Ranch and Winter just with the strats by themselves. So, yeah. Stuff to look forward to at least. Even in 2025, new things are being found, and I love that this category that I love so much has not... You haven't seen the last of it. Hell, Last of Us, get it? Anyway, thanks for watching. These are all the new things that were found by Uranto, and I will see you guys on Twitch. Thanks for watching. Bye.